Hello. Immediately second video um, about me and Eric. Our anniversary is coming up. I'm not sure if it's tomorrow or Sunday. I just remember that um, it's the day after Eric's best friend Dave's birthday, and have to look up Facebook to really know. But it's this weekend. I mean, and hopefully I will be going back home anyway tomorrow. But then I have to immediately stay with my friend and her mom because I promised to help out with her mom who's 91 years old, and she sort of needs someone to watch over her. Um, but anyway, that's another story. This one is about the anniversary and how it was funny because Eric actually thought our anniversary was last month, same time, and he posted, and people were saying, "Happy anniversary! It's our 25th one." And then, as I was, reading it, and then I'm realizing, wait a minute, that's a month away. He posted in August, and now it's our actual anniversary, and I almost forgot because I've been here and I don't even know if Eric will remember. And it seems, I mean, at least I think um, I kept an anniversary or a post that I was going to post on our anniversary that was kind of, I don't know, momentous or at least celebratory. I mean, 25 freaking years, right, man? Oh my God. And 4 children later, we started out as um, best friend. Well, we started as just fellow uh, fellow college student in a play, Heidi Chronicle. The play was Heidi Chronicle by Wendy Wasserstein. I don't know. It's Wendy something. And the play was amazing about women's lib and all that. And so Eric and I met. I was the stage manager, okay, assistant stage manager, um, for the play, and he was actually an act. I mean, he was a film student at the time, but he got the part of, ironically, the stage manager for the play. It's like a play within a play, right? And that's how we met. Um, and I think we hung out in the green room a lot and we hit it off. We had a lot in common. But then we didn't really, like, I mean, I didn't think of him romantically, and I don't think he thought of me that way as well. Um, Sorry, trying to figure out the lighting. What's the best lighting? Me and lights. And yeah, I like that. I like that light. And so we went on our separate ways once the play was over, and I wrote another play, and I also directed another play. It was a year later before we got back together again. We didn't even keep in touch. And I just remember how we got back together was I had asked a boy that I had a crush, I mean, big crush on, in college. I'd asked him to direct my play, which he did. But then when I revealed how I felt about him, he was feeling kind of uncomfortable knowing that, I guess, and he didn't have the same feeling for me, so he dropped out um, from directing my play, and so I was really sad and depressed. And it happened to be that day, um, the film, Eric's film was being showcased in a student film festival, and I happened to have a flyer. Maybe he gave it to me. Who remembers? So I went, and there he was, and his short was really, really funny and good. He had his family member in it. I think it's called, I forgot what it's called, but his sister was there, and we reconnected. And then I invited him to come watch my performance. I wrote a monologue, um, and he and his dad came, and his dad fell in love with me because of my performance. The performance was about my dog and about my dad, and it was just a simple monologue where I wrote a 5-minute monologue telling the story, um, and then I sang a Beatles song afterwards, and it was a really nice night. I didn't realize how much it impacted the audience, because I did remember coming out, and I was only 24 at the time, and like bikers were surrounding me. I didn't even know they watch plays, and throngs of people, at least 20 at least, were surrounding me in the parking lot and asking me about the play, and asking, Serena's out, but I won't show her. She's out of the shower. I was trying to do this before she came out, but at least she's not sleeping, so so I don't have to worry about being loud, right, Serena?
Who are you talking to?
Myself and you too.
Oh, okay.
So so anyway, where was I? Oh, so there was a bunch of people surrounding me, congratulating me and wanting to ask me questions, and I felt like Jesus. I mean, people just expected me to have answers to their life or something, and I was only 24, but I got a glimpse of what fame must have felt like, and at the time, I remember thinking to myself, not ready for this. I not ready for people to worship me just because of what I said on stage. But Eric and his dad was there too, but they didn't wanna bother me because it was my moment. And it was funny because even years later, I would have actor friends come up to me and said that my monologue just changed their life, and I don't even know why. It was simple, um, or at least it changed the way they felt about acting. Um, but the point of this video isn't really about that. I was just trying to introduce you guys to how Eric and I met. So anyway, I think it's either tomorrow or Sunday. This weekend, we're going to celebrate our 25th anniversary. We've known each other longer than that. We met when Eric was 22, and it's been such a long time. And we have 4 babies later, and our oldest, who's here with me, is 23. I mean, wow. And you know, we've had our ups and downs. Hasn't always been an easy ride, but no marriage is perfect, and ours definitely was not perfect. But I have to say, this weekend away from Eric and hanging out, you know, away from him made me realize that in some way we are, I mean, in some way he is more perfect for me than anyone else. Not even my best friend would have been able to understand me as well as he did. We were best friends for a long time. And then I think when we got married, things changed because we both had crazy, stupid expectations of what a marriage is or what a relationship is, um, and you know what it meant to be parents. Because a year after we got married, we had Serena right away. I mean, I tried to delay having babies, but somehow it happened, and then subsequently every few years later we would have more until we had our four, and there wasn't really time to think about anything else but raising the kids as best as we could, considering our financial constraints and uh, our personality clash. These are like things that I, looking in hindsight, should have been discussed before we got married. But anyway, I think the point is that I'm glad that we were married. I see now that Eric was the only person that I could have meshed with well. He is just as crazy and unconventional as I am, maybe even more so. He is an Aquarius, and I'm cusp, like Pisces Aquarius. Um, and he gets me. He got me when we met, and he had always adored me. And well, actually, I think it was his dad that saw my potential and fell in love with my as an actor, and then fell in love with me. People get confused, of course, with acting versus the real person, but I was up there naked revealing myself, at least for that moment. And I'm glad that I have this time to reflect without him, and realizing that we're right for each other. And we were young, way too young when we first met, and we weren't really formed enough. Our personality was still kind of not well, we weren't mature enough, but we grew together. and there's no one else that could have understood me or helped me through the bad times like I did. I mean, sure, financially I could have married some independently wealthy guy. That would have helped in so many ways, or someone who is more generous. But that was supposed to be me. I was supposed to be the breadwinner, even though he was a crazy good at it. But, then he broke his back, and the rest is history, another time. But this week of reflection made me realize that Eric is the only one who could have been the parent to my children, and was able to instill in them the kind of unconventional thinking outside the box. And he's not a perfect dad, but he was so good with them when they were younger. He was an excellent playmate, and that's what they needed. They needed that when they were young. Sorry, just trying to figure out lighting again. So I'm glad, and I know that I'm better at dealing with them when they're grown, because I remember telling him that I look forward to when my kids become teenagers, my best year. My best years were actually from 18 to 26. I think those were my great years that I college, and the experiences of college shaped me into who I am, and very lucky to meet the friends and the teachers that I had um, in college. Losing my train of thought. But I think my point is that I'm glad. I'm glad that I married Eric, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world because he was the right person for me emotionally, and that is more important than financial. I mean, that helps. It definitely would have helped during our lean years, but I needed someone who is emotionally open and available and capable of pulling me out of my deep, deep depression. When my sister died, when my dad died, when my mom died, he was there. And 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 he was my best friend again. Maybe we would have been better off as best friends, or I mean stayed so, because it is really hard to stay that way, especially when we have kids and our parenting style completely clash. But besides that, I think there's no one else I'd rather grow old with, and I hope that I can somehow convey to him how um, how how fun it will be when the kids have their own lives and go off on their own, because then it will be our time and we can reconnect again and be best friends like we did in college, and find and help each other's potential, because it feels like we both kind of delay who we could have been. And when I first met him, I knew that we were supposed to make movies together, and Eric is still brilliant as an editor, as a videographer, etc. And together I always thought we'd be a perfect dual power couple, right? um, but and that real success as parents is when we're able to let them fly, and be proud of the fact that they want to leave us and and live their own life and thrive without us, because eventually we won't be here for them. And hopefully, if we're successful, they will want children of their own, and they will want to successfully help their children um, fly too, which has always been my goal. And I never thought, I mean, there are moms that worry about the empty nest, and it's odd because Eric is more like a mom. Like he was a second mom to them, and for him, them leaving and the empty nest is scary because he just wants to keep having babies. But for me, it's like, wow, I still have time. I'm young enough to now reestablish where I stopped, you know, and have another second chance to start over and have my dream again. And I'm doing that. I'm really proud of myself. And like now it's kind of like the same time where two of my kids, one just graduated from college and the other one is in college, and it's like I am a college graduate just now, just like them, and I'm showing them how to how to live their dream now, because I feel like it's never too late. And now what I had when I was younger was youth, and youth is great, especially in the field that I want to get in, but it's never too late because what I didn't have then is confidence and experience and the I don't know, just that I'm not afraid anymore. And that's something you can't really teach. It's something you have to have grown up or grow up learning. And so I just hope that the next 25 years, how old would we be there? Our 90s? No, wait, no, 70s. Sorry, my math. Asian, how could I have possibly miscalculate when I was such a great math student? Okay, digress. Just that I think that the next 25 years could be even more exciting because we'll have grandchildren and we will help raise them, and they will see grandma and grandpa being happy, living their dream. And isn't that what it's all about? I had my old boss, um, John Stearns, who was the very first, um, one of the first producer um, to produce what became the Tonight Show with Steve Allen. And he was the one that I really looked up to and admired when I was working for him because he was in his 80s and he was still working, typing away in his office. And I thought to myself, that's how I want to be. I want to keep working until I can't anymore. Because what I read was that he was hosting his last show when he died. And I'm like, that's how I like to go. Doing what I love, doing what I love, and being with a partner who understands that. And I think Eric supports me and understand that I have I still have so much to share with the world. But mostly I'm doing this for the kids. And if people happen to benefit, that's just a plus, right? Cream on the top, or whatever I'm trying to say. Icing on the cake is what I meant. Okay, that's about it. Happy anniversary, honey. Sure, you will be watching it eventually because I'm making so many of these now. I'm glad that we weathered the storm together. So here's to another 25 years.